Welcome to the Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in a Meat Suit. And today I'm joined by Deedee. I don't know how to pronounce your surname, Deedee. Is it Panesar?
Panesar, correct.
Oh, got it right. Okay. Hello, welcome.
Tk you.
Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
You're in Vancouver. Martine Perrot is that right, Perrot?
Yeah, Vancouver, Canada.
I'm English, so I'm pretty bad at these. So you're in Vancouver as well?
Yeah.
Welcome. And Christina Morrison's down there near Melbourne, correct?
Correct, I'm in Melbourne, yes.
Yeah. So pretty eclectic mix, although we all have something in common, don't we, Deedee?
Yes, we do.
Well, I said it to all of you, actually. So Deedee has just published a book called The Awakening, and I wouldn't call it a subtitle, it's sort of part of the title, isn't it? The Time Everything Paused on Earth.
Yes.
Which we're all in, and it's just come out on Amazon. So I thought I'd get you all on just say hello, because it's quite funny being in a book with people you've never actually even spoken to before.
Yeah, definitely.
But also I thought maybe we could tell the story about this, because it's a great title and it's a great timing, and it also ties in with a few other things. So Deedee, do you want to tell us how this happened?
I have a long time ago, I've had this concept of sharing stories and putting them in a book, because we've all seen something, we've all heard something, we've all done something, and related to spirituality or related to medicinal medicine. So that was where the concept started from. And I actually started it in like January. And then we published the book in March, and the whole concept was run around social media. Well, we know about social media now, so I kind of just let it slide. Like I just kind of let it slide. But there was a calling to do this book, The Awakening, and to share our stories and to help to help humanity in the future, just to understand what has happened.
Yeah.
And so another concept of mine was with all this too, was I've always wanted to have a book publishing company made with hemp paper instead of like killing any more trees.
Love that idea.
Yeah, so that's where it all came back. And then I've met all of you on my journey, which is fabulous. And we have the same thing in common, where there's something bigger going on than what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Certainly is. So, how did you meet us all on the journey? Because you know what this year's been like. I know loads of people now I've never met, and I can't remember anybody's name, and I don't remember how. All I know, we've all kind of got the same idea about things.
Well, Martine, I met Martine in a course, and she was working on my website, and we just kind of, when this lockdown came down, we just started talking. So that's where Martine and I that's how Martine and I know one another. Christina is actually my husband's friend. They know each other for a long time. And as I kept on going on and on and on and on, he says, you need to talk to her. You need to talk to her. You need to talk to her. So this is how I know Christina. And now we know you.
Oh, well, there's other people in the book as well who aren't on this meeting as well.
Yes, it's a few of them are from Vancouver, or people that I know, and the others are just on our journey that I found you, and I connect with all of you.
Well, it's terrific. You put the invite out, and I thought, well, this is just great, because as far as I can see, once we've got through this bump in the road, you could call it, biggest bump in history. There's going to be years and years and years of storytelling, new movies, new TV, new books, new art forms, everything, especially about this time. So it's already started, which is great. That's why I was really pleased to be part of it. I wonder if Christina, you'd like to tell us what your story, what you've contributed to this book.
Yes. Hi, everybody. For myself, I met Deedee through Robert, as she said, and I've followed your channel for probably 6 months now. And I'm sorry.
It's only 2 months old.
Your channel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Well,
that's good. It's like, most people feel like when they know me for 5 minutes, it's like 10 years.
So you came out about the time JCK did, or before, I can't remember. But I've been following her since September 4th as well. I met Martine through Deedee on video. And you know when your spiritual tribe, you know, like we are the light workers and we are so connected. So just coming together and writing this book, it's such a great opportunity to share and to connect collectively about this year. 2020 has just been unbelievable. And I think after you know what we know, your heart has totally broken open. And I think to heal it, you come together with your soul tribe and you process all the information and you do your best. So when we had the opportunity to write this collective book, I thought, this is great. I'm just going to sit down and see what comes out. And there's a couple of parts in the book. I was like, where am I going with this? But at the same time, I needed to get that out about the influence of Hollywood growing up in California, and being able to be on the set of one of the top shows at the time in the 90s, and then realizing it was Baywatch. Of course, it was, you know, all showy. But what I realized straight away, about 18 months later, was it wasn't for me. I felt so protected from Hollywood. And that's when I went into my healing work. Started doing therapy and massage therapy. I've always done Native American healing work since I was a child. I just, you know, kind of didn't know that was going to be my path. But I think this year has just been, I'm just speechless really about it. But yeah, the book itself is such a great opportunity for us to share our story. And as you said, the new media, the new way of getting the truth out to people is going to be through people like us. It's not going to come from mainstream media anymore. As we know, they never tell the truth, really. So yeah, I just feel so grateful to connect and be able to share my story. There's still a lot more. I think all of us just put a little blip in the book. We didn't tell our whole story, but we put what we could. I really love your poems.
Well, thank you.
We See You was so powerful. And I mentioned it in the book as well, because when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, this is just so profound. And JCK also promotes a lot of your poems to us. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I wouldn't know JCK if it wasn't for the poetry, because she was one of my poems before I'd seen her, and she was actually writing down the words, my words, when somebody told her that I'd done a video about her reading. It's just that's what's been one of the most amazing things about the internet. The weapon that they created to control us is actually the weapon that's being used against them, which is sweet irony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When they created this fake pandemic, what they failed to realize, it was going to wake us up even more, you know. And I think this is our tool.
Well,
so we, you know,
say that because it is a fake pandemic, but I don't think it was supposed to be. I think it's been used to show everybody what they would have done, because we'd all be dead already if Clinton had won in 2016.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Sure. Well, thank God for the alliance, and there is a good team. There's a massive team actually helping us and doing the hard work for us as we awaken and can contribute through our consciousness and through our sharing of information and raising our vibration, raising our frequencies as we go along. It's hard to navigate when your heart's broken wide open, when you realize about the children and what's been happening. And in the book, I did write, I think my healing of my heart being broken wide open was forgiving myself for being blinded while all this was happening under my feet. I had no idea. Once I found out, it's like all of us, we just start diving down the rabbit holes. And then when we can pull ourselves out of it, how do we navigate through the emotions of it all? How do we process the information without getting sick? You know, it was really profound information to find out all the people you've looked up to or thought were great actors or whatever turn out to be what they are. Now, I don't want to go into all the labels of what I think they are, but I will say the healing starts with forgiving yourself for being blinded by it. Second is finding your tribe and healing the best you can, navigating through everything, metabolizing it through your system, raising your vibration, your frequency, and just getting on it. You know, it's some people can't even sleep at night because they know what we know, but luckily I am able to rest at night knowing that we have a great team taking this stuff down, and yeah, I'm just knowing the truth about that.
Well, that's great to hear. What about you, Martine? So you're a web developer. Is that what your daytime vocation? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a digital marketer and web developer. Pardon?
Join the club.
So how did I first started getting into this? So at first I started listening to what she was sharing. I only saw a few things that she would send me, and at first it didn't really make any sense. And then there was this one photo that I saw of this young girl in a box that was taped up, and I was like, what is this photo? It triggered something in my mind that I had to look into it more because it was just so alarming. So after that, I started diving into different videos and things that I found online. And then I started sharing it quite prevalently on my social media, and people started coming at me wondering, why are you posting all of these conspiracy theories, but not realizing they didn't realize at the time that my whole job is I'm on the computer all day. I'm good with the computer. If I want to find something out, I will find it. And from there, it just started going off, and it made me really change my perception of reality almost, because there's so many things that are hidden from us on purpose, and it's scary, but it's beautiful when you're able to see it from a higher perspective, almost like a third person's view, or like a bird overlooking everything that's going on. It's not as scary as when you're on the ground. And there are people that are on the ground, and they are so brave, and I am so proud of them. And that's their role. And I know I have a different role. And I think my role from after finding out this information is sharing it, because that's what I need to be doing. I just feel it with my heart and soul. I need to share this information, even if it's scary, even if I get backlash. I don't really care anymore. It kind of just, okay, you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, whatever. It slides off after a while, because you realize your role is more important than that. So yeah, I am so grateful to be a part of this with all of you. You have no idea. I honestly, the other day I started crying because I'm so happy. Yeah.
It is amazing that there is this moment, isn't there, where you kind of step over the line. Do you remember that moment? When was it? Was that this year for you, or was it?
Yeah, that was probably end of April this year, where I just didn't care anymore. I'm just going to say what I think after I've gathered different bits and pieces of information, gather my resources. So when people ask me, I have them on hand, all organized neatly. And yeah, it's just, after that point, I just didn't care anymore. There is no point to care. Why would I care? Because that would be coming from my own ego. Oh, you disagree with me. But it means more to me to be honest and be speaking from my truth. And when you're speaking from your truth, that's the highest frequency that there is. Nothing can fight that, and it'll resonate with people faster because they understand it's the truth. When you raise your frequency, you're able to understand when people are being honest with who they really are and what they're really trying to articulate to you. Yeah, because I think even the wavelength is different. It attracts different situations, people, and things, because it's what it's actually supposed to be, the honest truth, even if it's scary.
It's very empowering, isn't it?
Yeah, quite empowering.
Yeah, amazing. Should we have a look at the book? I've just got it here on.
Yeah, of course.
Pull it up because it's pretty cool seeing it up on. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. There it is. How does it feel seeing a book that you read up online for sale? Pretty cool, right?
Real.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I love the cover, Deedee.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Did you create that, or where did that come from? Is that?
No, I created it all. I created it all, and I use a program called Canva.
Oh, it's brilliant, brilliant Canva, isn't it?
Yes.
It's great. Can we look inside? Let's have a look. Okay. I won't show everybody everything. Look, there you go. Amazing. Yeah. So Ben is a guy that I've had a chat with once, but I've not met him either.
Oh, Ben is fabulous. You're gonna like him. Oh, you're gonna like him. I had a great experience with him.
I'm not going to give him the whole poem. I'm just showing people what's in the book. Sorry, go on.
So I had a great experience with Ben. He called me, and we had this great long chat, and all there was a whole bunch of rainbows that showed up in the sky. It was magical. There's like double rainbows. It was a magical day talking to him.
Was that about 10 days ago by any chance?
No, I think it was a little bit longer than that. I think it was a couple of weeks. You know what? I have no concept of time anymore. I think it was 10 days ago. It could have been.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of double rainbows around that time, and I've got a video going up on my channel about half an hour that talks all about these domes, which is a separate subject. It's called the Abracadabra Code. I don't know if any of you have seen any of those videos, but
yes,
yeah, a bit head melting, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm still.
What is the Abracadabra code? What is it?
That's the way I say it. Abracadabra.
The Abracadabra.
So, well, the short version of it is that there was there's a guy saw me on the Charlie Ward show, said, I know him. He got in touch with me, started talking. He's about the same age as me. As a little boy, he could see energy. As he got older, he could start controlling the energy. And then he worked out this thing to do with the word abracadabra, which is the original magical word that created the universe. And then he got guided into a bookshop, and he got given this book that my computer's sitting on. This is a great book any writer should read, called Phrase and Fable. Absolutely incredible book. So he got this book, he opened it up, it turned to abracadabra, then he worked that out, and then he created this clock. It's actually quite a long-winded story, but it's fascinating because he told me that we were about to ascend, and then we ascended from what he called level 24 to level 72. All this darkness, all this negative stuff is something that we actually created to work through it so that we could go into the next phase, which is a totally different way of existing, which is what spiritual circles would call the ascension, which is kind of linked into this book. So, and we've currently done about 9 hours worth of videos, and we still haven't worked it all out.
Wow.
Which is part of the fun, you know, when you start some of these things, you can't stop. I'm sure there'll be awakening 2, 3, 4, 5 as well, won't there?
Yes, I believe so. I think we have lots more to say. This is just a start, because we've seen so much, we've experienced so much. For me, I think it was in December. It was in December. I just knew everything I've ever done is connected. I didn't know what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what it meant, and then things just started happening. And for me, it was actually in March when I found out about the children. I really went that I think I was like not good for about a month. Like I don't think I was good for about a month. And that completely changed me. There's no like turning back. There's there's the good or the evil. There's no gray line in the middle. You have to pick a choice. You're going to stay on the good side of life, or you want to stay on the bad side of life. It's or evil, good or bad, or evil, dark or light, whatever you want to call it. But there's no in between anymore.
That's right, and it's interesting that two of you are in Vancouver, because two of my biggest awakening moments are related to Canada. One was I was on an Air Force exchange with the Royal Canadian Air Force in 1987, and I was in Toronto and then Vancouver and then Vancouver Island, sorry. And I've told this story a couple of times, and I can't remember if it's still on YouTube, but I went flying in a Cessna with the daughter of one of the F-15 pilots, and we flew over this giant house, and we did a steep turn around it, and she looked down and she said, "See that big house?" I said, "Yeah." I'm 18 at the time, right? And I went, yeah, I can see it. She said, "That's where all the Satanists live. That's their headquarters." And I went, "What?" And she said, if you try to drive to that house, you'll never be able to find it. You can't get to it unless you know the way.
Oh, yes.
And I spent 2 weeks in Canada going into, to pay for petrol and stuff, going, shit, is he a Satanist? And I was absolutely terrified.
In Vancouver, I'm going to just say that over where we are, there's 600 Gulf Islands. And on those Gulf Islands, just think exactly what's on those Gulf Islands. Say one of our mining properties has a Jehovah Witness church on it. There's only 1,000 people on that island, and it's a massive church. And it's like, what is that church doing there? And Vancouver, Victoria is known for their, their factory. They're actually they actually have a factory there, and it's known. It's just it's been closed down now, and they've been doing this for centuries, and everybody knows. I've always known that it was there. Everybody knows, but like we all knew. No, but we never did anything about it. We all knew.
Yeah, here's the crazy thing. That's it. That's why we've got this collective sense of guilt and forgiveness. But the other link with Canada was, have you heard of Kevin Annett?
Yes. Yes, he does like a Kanata thing.
Yeah.
Kanata, yes.
Before he did the Republic of Kanata thing, he was originally a priest assigned to a home in Canada. I can't remember exactly where it is, but basically he discovered that there'd been a genocide of children over a 60, 70-year period that were mainly Indigenous people of Canada. And he got to know lots of people, lots of witnesses who then got bumped off as he got deeper and deeper and deeper. And he sets up the International Tribunal of Crimes of Church and State, the ITCCS, which sets up common law court. I mean, this man is a legend and a true hero. And he was the first. In fact, I've got a couple of his books here about how to be a truth warrior in these times, and how to set up common law to stand up against the tyranny. And he claims responsibility, and I think he's right, that there was a common law court in Brussels that he was responsible for creating that found Ratzinger guilty of paedophilia and genocide, which is why Ratzinger resigned, was the first Pope to resign. And the
Queen.
Yeah.
And the Queen.
And the Queen. And it was the Queen and Prince Philip that took 16 children from that place into a woods in 1966, and the children never returned. Now, I got to know all about the stuff with the children like 12, 15 years ago. And that got me involved in all sorts of stuff that I'll have to write about one day. But the children is the hardest part of the whole thing. But I also believe that it's going to be the thing that's going to unite the people who are currently divided by the nonsensical divisions of race, religion, and finances and countries and all of that nonsense, which is all engineered, all complete, and sexuality, all about completely engineered divisions. And I think the children are going to unite. And I had a vision the night of the election that was really powerful and freaky, but it was actually children being released from cages. But I was there, it was, but they were being released. There were all the doors were opening up, and they were climbing out. So I do think, and another thing I was going to say is that this is, we're part of this as well. I think it was Christina said, I can't remember which one of you said it was, about being grateful for all these people that are doing all this work for us. But we're part of that, because this is a multi-dimensional war, and we're all, in this 3D version of ourselves, writing things in books and poems and things like that, is an expression in this dimension of what we are in our true selves in the higher dimensions. I don't know about you guys, but I've been exhausted all year because I'm doing some serious fighting.
Oh yes, I'd like to mention about the. Can we go? Because in Canada, Canada is the last. As you know, notice there's nothing going on. You don't hear much about it, and it's been quiet. And I've been saying this for a long time. It is the quietest because it's the worst. It is the worst. I have connected with different people. One of them was on. His name is Patrick King, and I put him together with Charlie Ward, and they did a discussion on this. They talked about the BLM, and they also talked about the indigenous gangs. Yeah. Mm. And he knows a lot where they store their things. So I think a lot of people need to be aware the 1% of it's all cultures. It's not just a segment of cultures. I just believe 1% of every culture is evolved, And there's no way you can get away with this in Canada without them being involved. They own I think a third of the properties of the land here, so they're well aware of what's been going on.
Absolutely. It's you know, when you mentioned the islands, one thing that did dawn on me this year is the islands. This is why in my poem "We See You" I put the islands of horrors, not the island of horrors.
Yeah.
That S was very deliberate, because most people would have thought I was just relating to Epstein's Island. But then when you add up, you look around the world. I mean, I remember sailing across the Channel in England and landing on Guernsey and Alderney and all those islands in the channel between England and France. They're all owned by the Queen. And there's a really amazing film made by an ex-child abuse victim called Bill, called Sun, Sea and Satanism, where he went there and he felt they've got these demonic statues in the garden, all sorts of horrible stuff there. And this is where a children's home called the Hope de la Garenne was dug up about 12, 15 years ago, and they found the bodies of hundreds and hundreds of dismembered babies. And it's the same as the place in Canada. It's the same here in Ireland. There's a place not far down here, 800 dismembered babies' bones they found there. And it's just extraordinary that they've managed to, like, it is a spell. I believe it is a spell that we've been under, and that's what the veil is lifting. And that's why I'm also quite surprised that Amazon lets you publish books like this, because
Oh, well, I took a chance. We don't know how long this is going to last. We can print it somewhere else too.
yeah, because I mean, Jeff Bezos is just another frontman, the same as Zuckerberg and all the rest of them for these organizations.
Yeah.
So I could waffle on. Have you guys got maybe you should tell people watching this why they should go and get this book, and maybe tell a little bit about your maybe a nugget from your story. Anybody?
Okay. Hi, I'll go. So why I think you should get this book is because it will really help people find their own truth and be able to have the courage to speak their own truth and to come out and share, so that other people, because there's people who are looking, there's people who want to know, there's people who are frightened, like frightened to death, who need to know that they're not alone in this awakening, and that there's a lot of people to support them. It might all be on the computer, but I think also it's a gentle red pill, I think, for most people who are not maybe as far awakened as some of us. It's not a harsh one. I've been harshly red pilled before. I know what that feels like. I think this book is a very gentle red pill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Do you want me to keep going a little bit about my story?
What? Yeah, if you want to. I mean, I just
So-
want to say that I really think that you're absolutely right there.
Yes.
And I think it's really anybody watching this who is afraid to speak up, even in your own family. The time is now. You just got to do it. You know, if you're feeling it, like Martine said, you just got to stop caring. You know.
Yes, I agree.
I agree with
I
that.
think in January, when all this kicked off, I was doing therapy work at one of the top world spas here in Melbourne. I'm about an hour drive from Melbourne on the peninsula. So it's kind of like a holiday place where people they have second homes, and the hot springs are here and that kind of thing. And intuitively, I just stopped working on January 18th. I just was tired. I couldn't do it anymore. And on the 25th, they announced this pandemic. And I was pretty scared the first few weeks because I wasn't sure, right? And after that, I sat down and I asked myself, is this real? You know, I went within and it was like huge. No, this is not real. And you need to abate your fear as quick as you can. So I started doing that. I was going, through the layers of fear and deprogramming that. And then I got so angry when I realized how duped we've been. Like, I was just full on in my anger. My poor husband, he was like, are you okay? And I said, I don't know, but I soon will be. And I just kept researching. As Martine said, if you're in front of a computer, you can really find things out. So as we progressed, because here, I don't know, I'm sure you guys do know, here in Victoria was the worst lockdown. And we were told if we left our homes within 5 kilometers, we would be, fined. We couldn't be outside. It was really strange. And it just, and I'm a Native American born, so freedom's very important to me, I think to all of us, but it is my top value. To be told I couldn't do this and couldn't do that really angered me. So once I was able to abate the fear, I figured anger is a level above fear, so let's keep going. And of course I was so angry at people masking up and all of this stuff. And our guy here, DA, I won't say his name, the premier here, just unbelievable. Thank God for JCK pointing out his MK Ultra situation. But it was just the terrible feeling of oppression, and we heard a lot of bombs going off and earthquakes, and we don't have that here in Australia or Melbourne. And we were like, what's going on? Well, we know now what they were doing. The Alliance was cleaning up. 1 million children were, rescued here. It's hard to not get emotional talking about it, but I think about 85% didn't make it. And the ones that did, are being cared for. So it was just so profound, you guys, to be in Australia at this time, in Victoria. Coming from America, I migrated here in 2009. It's a lucky country. It's a beautiful place, but it is one of the darkest New World Order hubs, with China, the whole thing of us being sold out. And America also was sold out. I think many countries were sold out from the, can I say the word, the cabal to China or CCP. So I think here they own our land rights, our agriculture, our electric grid, our shipping ways. You can even see at night when they're when the ships go by, you can see it looks like a little Chinese emperor's palace, the lighting on it. So I mean, they own Port Melbourne, they own everything. And so I was just blown away. But anyway, getting back to the part of the story in the book, I was just able to come full circle to have compassion, to have love, and to hold the light, even though there's times I'm so angry. I was so angry after I was abating the fear. I was able to come to a place of understanding that people have been so programmed for so long, and they actually need compassion from us. They don't need us to send them darts of anger when I see them driving by themselves masked up because the level of fear they have. I literally had to be like, wait a minute, I don't want to be angry at these people. I don't want to dive or sink down into the third dimensional lower frequencies, because that's what feeds these forces, the loose, you don't want to. So I was able to have a great compassion, even for the premier, of this state. And I thought, what's happening to me? I mean, shouldn't I be so angry? People wanted to shoot him. They were saying all these things on my page. And I thought, wait a minute, guys, what if we just blast the hell out of them with light? What if we just send so much light to these people that whatever's attached to them can't stand it and detaches from them? I don't know. But it seems to be working. There's several people, as you probably know, like Lori Ladd and JCK and different people that we're connected to, that also say raising our vibrations and being of service by sending love and light is actually what wins. It's not the anger, So I think that's a big lesson for all of us also, to know it's okay to be real with what you're feeling when you feel it. But in the next now moment, choose love, choose light, and do your best to put that out there. I just want to say that December 21st is coming up. I know Martine and Deedee and yourself is aware of this event. Uluru, here in Australia, there's a massive event happening on the 21st. And now that things are opening up, I have bought in September my flights and my hotel and everything to go. I won't be with the elders of the original people. I'll be with many other light workers. It's called the Cosmic Consciousness Conference. So there's a lot of us going on the 19th or so. to be present in the space of Uluru for the activation ceremony. And apparently it's meant to be the first wave of the ascension where the light comes through Uluru and blankets the planet, activating every sacred site on the planet. Have you heard about this, Mark?
Yeah, I know quite a lot about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So hopefully I'll be there if, you know, as long as I can get on that plane, I'm there, you know.
Yeah, a pretty amazing place to be for, you know, I mean, for anybody watching this, the Uluru is considered to be the heart chakra of the planet and has a huge crystal beneath it that was covered in darkness, but that darkness has been removed, and the original people are very kind of secretive about it because they've had to keep secrets over all these years of them being decimated by. It's funny that all the countries that we're talking about all have the Queen's head on the back of the coins. Isn't that strange?
Yes, it is. It is strange, but yet it doesn't surprise me because it's a conglomerate of the Commonwealth, and that yeah, I mean, it's just full on. So the activation ceremony, apparently if we have 144,000 or more pure hearts focusing on Gaia and the Mother Earth at that time, it will activate this crystal, and that's when the light will reach the central sun or something coming out of Gaia into you know, the universe and connecting. But I think even if you're not able to be at Uluru, if you just sit, you know, in silence and send a lot of love and light to the mother, it's gonna help, you know. And I think it is 7:32 p.m. on Uluru time. So if you're in Australia, it's like 9:32. Wherever you're at, you can kind of correlate the time frame to Uluru and just have that moment. They do say to put your butt on the earth, or, you know, your feet on the earth during that time. But, you know, wherever you're at, it's gonna help. So I'm just praying I can be of service.
You know, I've heard a number of things. 144,000 people as clusters in each country.
That's right.
That's right. 4,000 across the whole planet. Also, everybody should be doing everything they can to detox of heavy metals, especially, and to be grounded as much as possible.
Yeah.
Around that time.
Did you get the Zeolite? I got the Zeolite through JCK for $5. Good stuff.
I introduced her to it, so I've been using it all year. It's amazing stuff. My kids can't go past me without me spraying them.
Good idea.
No, it's brilliant stuff, and it's funny. I had a kinesiology thing in January, and the woman that did the thing on me, she went, "This is weird," and I went, "What?" She went, "You've got no heavy metals in you," and I was like, "Well, I've got a mercury tooth filling still." She said, "Yeah, compared to most people, you're right down there." So it's because I've been using this stuff.
Great. Yeah.
But and this is a hydrogen water. This is really good for cleaning.
Hydrogen. I just have the alkaline.
Yeah, that as well. So, you know, every little helps. You know, I've been saying on Facebook all year and had a few people dig at me going, "Well, what's your solution? Growing vegetables and standing on the grass barefoot?" And I went, "Yeah, pretty much, yeah."
Pretty much doing the same thing.
They don't get
exactly.
It. We should be out with guns. Like, no, not this time. Not this time. What about you, Martine?
I take Shilajit. So
I've not heard of that.
So I have it right here actually.
Yeah, I like learning things. I've got a pen and paper for the very subject.
It's petrified plant minerals, and it cleans out your pineal gland.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we all need that. You look extremely healthy. Is that part of your regime? Do you have a regime, or you?
Yeah, I have a regime. I take my mushrooms in the morning, so I take my cordyceps and lion's mane. I have my fruit shake and then my greens with my Shilajit every morning.
Wow, yeah. I feel completely inadequate now.
It helps though. Yeah, just cleaning out all of that toxic stuff that they've been trying to give us without us realizing it, especially even the detergent we use, the music they give us, just trying to stay away from all of that and just resonating with what you know at your core is actually good for you, and then just implementing that. It's really simple, but we're just out of the habit over time.
Yeah, it is simple. I read a book years ago called Full Spectrum Dominance by a guy called F. Engel. I can't remember, it's up there somewhere. But when I read that and realized it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, how deep they've gone to completely destroy us. So every little thing does help. But what would you say to anybody about buying this book? What are you saying to your friends? What, you know, why, or your family? Hey, buy this book because, not just because I'm in it, but because
it might help them during this time, almost to comfort them when they start realizing all of the corrupt things that have been going on. It's just almost as a buffer once they start feeling uncomfortable, to ease them into learning more or diving deeper into what's going on. It's almost reassuring that other people have been feeling what they are currently feeling, and they're there for you as well. And we're all as a collective. It's not one person, it's not 2 people, 10 people, 20 people. We're way bigger than that. But sometimes when you get in this dark hole and you start realizing all of these things that are going on, it's quite traumatic. So by having that understanding that we are a collective of truthers that want to know more, that want to raise the frequency of the planet and do better for all of us, then I think it'll just comfort them and help them understand that it is traumatic, but there are lots of people who are there for you, who have been in your shoes, and we're all going to be okay.
Well said. Well said. Thanks, Martine. So, Deedee, we couldn't print this one on hemp paper, but the next one, yeah?
Pardon me?
We couldn't print this one on hemp paper, but the next one, maybe.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Oh, I can't wait when we start printing on hemp and we never touch another tree again. Oh, I love the trees, and it really hurts my soul what they've done to the trees.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for all of you to be part of this book, to share your truth, because we all have our journeys, but we all have our journeys. We're all together. We all see what is happening. Our veil has been lifted, and there's no turning back. We can't go back. This is what's happened. This is what's happened to us. Some things are more traumatic for others. Some things are lighter than for others. But we're going to make it together, and we're moving to this new earth. And it's almost right around the corner.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, I'm excited.
That it is like, I'm kind of like halfway between excited and like, oh shit, I keep forgetting that. I go out and see the people in the mask. I'm like, oh, is that still going on? Oh.
I'd like to say another thing is, like, I was keep thinking about this thing, and they're saying, oh, all these symptoms that are going on, so all the symptoms of the ascension symptoms that we're having right now, like the hot spells, our hearts are fluttering, we're getting massive headaches. Those are just ascension symptoms. They're not meaning that you're sick, that you need to run to the hospital to get vaccinated. I'm just trying to that's one thing I like people to understand. Those are just our symptoms of ascension, but a lot of people don't understand the spiritual world either, that we're ascending right now into this new dimension, which they may not understand either. So the reason that I thought this book would be great was to help as a collective, that this is what's happening.
But it's a very hard thing to explain to somebody who doesn't have a clue what the language you're speaking.
Yeah, right.
This is I think this is why I ended up putting poetry out this year, because I'm trying to put information into formats that it might get people starting to think, because I first learned about the concept of 5D about 7 or 8 years ago, and I spent a good few years going, what does it mean? Are we going to be dead? I couldn't visualize it, but as it's getting closer, I can feel it happening, and it's been an amazing year. From that, if I forget about all the noise, it's just been personally just an extraordinary time, and we are going to be all right. And if the bad guys were in charge, I want anybody to watch this to remember, don't wobble, because we've already won, and
exactly.
We are creating this. So I'll finish up by saying the other thing I love about the fact that you've done this book is that I'm not just a believer. I know that when we create things in the physical reality, we make the reality happen. So just by calling it The Awakening, you've helped that, and I for one am very privileged to be part of it, and I'm very pleased and privileged to have met all of you on here. So I'd just like to thank you all, Deedee, Christina, and Martine. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And, I'll put a link to the book below this. Anybody watching it, it's not expensive. Go and get it. There's some great stories in there. And thanks for putting it all together, Deedee. And thanks, guys. And lots of love to Canada and Melbourne and the whole of Australia.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.